When you're in your center, the indecisiveness, the fear and doubt fade. The fragmentation between what part of me is this, oh, who did that, blah, blah, you just do. There's no try, just do. You start operating from a place of truth and power. This truth is not the absolute truth. You're always open to well thought out ideas that might give you more insight into furthering your spark, your wisdom, your sword. But at the end of the day, this is who you are in this moment, and this is the place that you're going to go. When you start operating from here, the world will open up, especially if you speak your truth. Speaking your truth is probably, for me, was the number one thing that led to my big transformations after the spirituality trip. Holding that truth in is sort of a self-sabotage, and you're hurting yourself not to make others feel uncomfortable. The ones who want to evolve just love hearing truth. Yesterday, a woman that I saw for a little bit sent me a message about how she went to a tantric workshop and they talked about how male vulnerability and female vulnerability is the same thing. Oh my goodness. Imagine that message to a man who's not in his center telling a man he needs to be more vulnerable. He'll start speaking his emotions and speaking of his pains and thinking it's virtuous, like many in the spirituality space do. A woman will hold it because she's in no judgment and go, yeah, I feel that. Thanks for sharing. She doesn't want to kiss you at all. At all. Male vulnerability and female vulnerability are massively different things. And when I cut through that and some messages to her, she's like, oh my God, this is the most attractive thing I've ever seen in a man, because you know the stuff, the spiritual stuff that they pump out, but you form your own path from it. It's like, yeah, and this is the thing that men get confused with depth. There's so many people in the men's space and spiritual space saying all the buzzwords, doing all the things, but the words aren't theirs. Their words have no weight. They will use bigger and more fancy words, but it's true wisdom. It's felt. It's just like, that's his. Have you ever gone to a party and a guy goes on a spiel about something and you just watch him and you're like, isn't that beautiful that this guy is so well thought out about this thing. He's so passionate about it when he speaks. And I respect him for that. Might not even be interested about the details, but I am just stoked that this guy is a bit free. He's authentically him. And this is what is magnetic, especially to women, because they're just feeling the vibration and the truth of your frequency as you speak about what you know from your centered place. It's not because every word is perfect. In fact, if I tried to recite what I said, I will have no idea. Neither will she. But she's like, yeah, that feels so good in my body. Honestly, without sounding like a dickhead, having conversations through that lens of the freedom of consciousness, this is me in my center, and it's not braggadocious, it's not aggressive, it's not blunt. There's a jokey, spontaneous, serious, all of the dance with it is foreplay. A woman can be wet the whole day just from conversation because they're finally feeling a man in his frame. You've got to understand, most men are so easily pushed off, especially when it comes to women. They're trying to sound fancy. They're trying to use language that appeases them and makes them feel safe. And the ones that actually want to evolve, want to rub up against a man and sort of try poke and feel his strength. When you start operating from a place of centered power and speaking your truth, the world will open up. No matter what stage you're on, we need to start here. And if you're not in your center, a good practice is just to watch your mind try, grab, and open up more threads and more tabs and like, oh, maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to do this. This is all energy. This is all energy dispersed, and we want that energy to return to you. This is where semen retention is awesome, because you build your energy from the bottom up. And once that rises into your place of power, you've got more energy there, more courage, and you build in power and you start speaking your truth. You're not giving that energy away. Now, what I'm also finding is I'm very big on dancing with the inner and outer worlds. And my reality at the moment, which has been a massive shift for the last 5 months, is I'm in a place that I love and I have my power places. So if I'm rested in my center and I go to my power place, there's a cafe where I'm seen. When I feel like once you rise in sort of self-assuredness and you feel like you're in an awesome place, you want to be seen more. And I just put myself in situations where that can happen. And I'm having conversations every day with men and women, meeting friends, having dates, just through putting myself in places that I feel powerful, which is a cafe, the beach, a sunset, and some pool tables. I feel free there. Even if I'm a little bit off center, I can go to my power place externally and sort of bring myself back into my center, breathe and go, God, I'm grateful. And it's this abundance mentality where I'm like, things are great. And that energy is magnetic to man and woman. Balancing the world, the inner and the outer is important. Like when I was in the yoga thing, it's like you can do yoga for your chakras and different things. It works. You can feel the stimulation there. You can't hold it just from yoga. If you want to get in your heart, fall in love. You'll be more in your heart. If you're wanting to activate your sexual chakra, have beautiful sex. If you're wanting to rest in your power, maybe become more powerful in the world. You can unlock your chakras through the world because your man who is taking the inner route, once you start taking the outer route and the inner route, you'll evolve like boom. And then it becomes a dance, then it becomes a play, then it becomes fun. And when you're in that place of power center, and I'm in a place that I love, I'm in no mind. You know, I can just operate from the freedom of that. And it's the transmission that comes across is like, to people. And like, I even have mentors just from there because they're like, I want that thing where I can feel you're just operating with, It's like, yes, you're having a place of no mind and finding out what things can bring you into those breakthrough moments where you have the those no mind, those trance states, whether that's dancing or playing an instrument or getting smashed by the waves or just doing something that can sort of bring you into that state to have those moments. Another important part of closing those threads and letting that power return to you. You have your toolkit because you're a self-development spiritual dude, which is awesome. But when you're not in your power center, the indecisiveness and the fear and doubt can make you making decisions overwhelming. And then the decisions that you make are often false paths and you need to play something out before you can get another chance to come back to your center. We live in a perpetually distracted world and most things are trying to pull us away from that. But once you come back to it, once you find it, and I imagine you've been in it before, because once you establish your frame and you can start looking at deeper things like what do I actually want? Where do I want to go? What values do I hold true? But without being in the center, we can often get pushed and pulled around with the narratives, the programming, the ideas and opinions of others. Once you're in that center, moving in the world is more effortless. Using the external world to find your center, to resting in places where you feel powerful, can help you bring that. Use that world as an evolutionary process to enhance your spiritual life or whatever that is. So I think it's like you've understood the spiritual existence, so everything is, and now you get to play in this grand dance, taking some false paths, making mistakes, but using it for your evolution and gaining wisdom, actual wisdom. And wisdom is rare. And why I'd rather listen to one of my favorite dudes is like a professional gambler. I don't listen to him because of that. That doesn't interest me. But the wisdom he extracts from his path is authentic and unique, and I respect him for a well thought out life. Rather than a 20-year-old who speaks about Carl Jung, who I love. I can't watch that video because I want to feel something. I'd rather listen to an old man talk about fishing. Don't get lost in trying to find the buzzwords and appease women and look appealing. You will look appealing from your place of center. You've lived enough life, you've taken on enough data that you have things there. But when it's all scattered and your energy's dispersed, it's hard to access it. If you're not in your center, let the things drop away. Watch your mind try to grab onto all of these false things and see if you can bring it back in. Having discipline and intuitively understanding when you're on a place of center and what can bring you back, or when you're not, is extremely important. For me, I had a bit of a neck thing the other day, which is always when I'm pushing too hard. It's not a specific to an exercise, but it's like my body's just a bit stressed. And my impulse will be like, go do deadlifts. But my intuition and the knowledge from my path is like, this is where it's like that predator energy that wants to push myself into oblivion. So I break and fall. Where instead I slow down, don't make any big decisions, allow my energy to come back. And once I'm in a more centered place, I can then move.